and welcome to Quilt Moxie, the podcast, where Quilt Moxie meets Craftsy.com, an online community dedicated to providing the best education and resources for crafters. Join me, Ariana, your host, and come along on my video journey where I participate in the Craftsy online classes and community. Meet up with us online at quiltmoxie.com or at your favorite hangout, Craftsy, Ravelry, Facebook, Twitter. Check the credits at the end of the show for more. You can also subscribe to our mailing list to get your next and every episode with show notes delivered directly to your email as soon as the episode is available. It's as simple as dropping your email address and checking Receive Podcast by email. Episode 13, and today, lace and beads. Welcome everybody, and if this is your first time, welcome. Today we're wrapping up two wonderful lace classes by Laura Nelkin, Mastering Lace Shawls and Knitting with Beads, and the other Craftsy class by Romy Hill, New Directions in Lace. We'll begin in the gallery, and we're going to wrap it up with a little bit of chit-chat. So let's go into the gallery. You might see behind me a wonderful quilt that was created as a result of our classroom testing for my Cathedral Window Moxie Tool. And the quilt is by Poirier. She was one of the participants that was doing the classroom testing. And what happened was she just got inspired. This is a traditional quilting lady. And she just broke out of her comfort zone and she created sort of, I would say it's a spring flower bouquet. And you're going to notice, I'm going to point this out, that the small cathedral windows on the top are mixed with a larger size. And this larger size cathedral window is for the next tool that I gave her to try out. So when you're combining these two tools, you can pretty much come up with anything. And to add to what Olive did, I decided that I was going to show you some cubes. So this is what I was doing on our last quilt retreat. For all of you quilters out there, you are probably going to get, first of all, you're going to be scared because it's cathedral windows. And you might even get intimidated because of the seams. These are the Y seams that everybody's so scared of when we're sewing and quilting. And I decided that maybe a good market to target would be the new quilter. So I created these little blocks to sort of appeal to a new quilter because they're not restricted. They're not scared to try something new because they don't know that this is supposed to be a huge challenge. Just to let you know, it's not a huge challenge because many of you know that I test everything with my children and my hubby. And they can do this. Now, they don't know that the traditional cathedral window is one of those lifetime achievement quilts. Anyway, I got carried away and I ended up doing a bigger cube showcasing different sort of styles of cathedral window on each one of these cubes. Here you can see a couple of cathedral windows that are done by hand. Not the background stitching, but the actual sort of cathedral window part. Here's another one. I don't know if you can see this here. And here again, you can see that we can create different shapes very easily using the Cathedral Window Moxie Tool. I also learned that, just by luck, that the Cathedral Window Moxie Tool creates true dimensional ties, or the bow tie block, which is also one of those blocks that has that dreaded Y seam in it. So let me just show you one of the blocks that it created. It created a dimensional bow tie. And it looks just as beautiful here as it does on the back side of it, which I guess is very exciting to us as quilters, where we want our quilt to look just as beautiful on the back as it does on the front. So I wanted to share this with you because, as you know, I'm very, very excited. Our Cathedral Window Moxie Tool is patent pending. I created a little promotional video for it. I will post the information for you to check it out. And also, I'm starting an email list. And this email list is for anybody who wants to either participate in doing some of these projects, or you want to be the first one to get the actual tool, which would be great, or you just want to see what everybody else is doing cathedral window wise, or you know somebody who's doing either a traditional cathedral window quilt, or they love this motif and they need to know about it. So I'll put the link so that you can click on it, either share the information with your friends or sign up, and you will be the first to know about anything to do with cathedral windows, so that we don't take too much time out of our wonderful knitting related podcast to talk about cathedral windows. And you'll still be on the forefront of all the information on all the prizes and everything that we're going to be doing with cathedral windows. So I hope you're going to join us for that little journey. So now let's get started with our lace and beads. I am so excited. I took the classes with Laura Nelkin, and I started with the Mastering Shawls, which I've done. You've seen my shawls from those classes. And she reserved the last shawl called Claris, which in her follow-up class, which is called Knitting with Beads, she decided that we could add beads to it. You might notice that I'm actually wearing that shawl here. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Let me just set up my background so that I can get all my lace and beads out so you can take a look at it while we're chit-chatting. Hold on a second and I'll get ready. Back, and we're talking about Laura Nelkin's Mastering Lace Shawls and Knitting with Beads. As I was saying, I'm wearing the Claris shawl, which is the shawl that sort of combines her Mastering Lace Shawls with the knitting beads. And behind me is the shawl that was giving me that huge challenge the last time. The last time I talked about the swatches I had done. Let me just hold them up as a reminder so that you can. So you may recall that this swatch was a huge challenge for me. It took me forever to try to get the beads to line up in the proper place. In any case, that was the swatch that I needed to do before I did the Akola shawl behind me. And with the Akola shawl, I had two challenges. One was the noops and the other one was the beads. So once I had mastered my little swatch, I was a little bit more confident when I cast on for this wonderful shawl. And I was going along really well until, I would say, probably the third repeat of those beads. I still managed to mess them up. I don't understand what went wrong. But no worries, because as part of the class, Laura sort of walks you through fixing mistakes in case you dropped a bead off or you have a bead in the wrong place, what to do. And every single technique that Laura was teaching in the class, this shawl has gone through. I had to Well, with the exception of removing a bead, I did not have to remove a bead, but I did have to add beads, and I had to do some duplicate stitch and some sort of, I would say, makeup after the shawl was done. So I fixed it afterwards, and I really, really like the results. I'm not scared to do beaded shawls. In fact, that's when I went into the Claris. And Claris was the shawl, the last shawl in the mastering lace class. And Laura showed you how to add beads to the border of the shawl. And of course, by now, I'm definitely swatching all the time. The other thing that Laura did show us was how to add beads to any shawl, which I did do. So let me show you my swatches. So the first swatch I'm going to show you is the edge border beads swatch. So here is the pattern that she added in Knitting with Beads for the Claris shawl. And by the way, if you decide that you don't need to take the class Mastering Lace Beads, I believe that she provides you with the entire pattern in the Knitting with Beads class, including where to put these beads. You might notice that these beads, there's not one of these beads that I ended up putting on the shawl that I'm currently wearing. This is the Claris shawl, the final shawl. And I don't know if you can see properly here, but this is the edging that it ended up. I'm going to hold it up a little bit later or insert a picture for you to see the finer details. So then I noticed on the Craftsy platform, somebody had posted an idea very similar to the Akola shawl here in the back. How about adding beads to the center part of the center panel of the shawl? And I thought that was a great idea. Now, this person hadn't finished, she didn't finish her shawl, so I didn't see how she put her beads, but I decided to follow Laura's advice because she does show you how to plan and how to add beads to other shawl patterns. So here's my little swatch for the center panel. And this time I ended up using beads that I think go much better with my mom's Shetland lace wool, which is very vintage. It's so vintage that it's discontinued. Here it is. Oops. So in the end, I think that these beads, can you see them? Are they going to focus? Maybe not. Let me see here. I hope it's focusing. I think that these beads are a better match for the yarn. In any case, so I ended up doing my own little beading pattern, and I ended up doing this wonderful shawl, which has the center. Well, let me just take it off now. Let's see here. Let's try this out. So you're going to see here the center panel beaded portion of the shawl. And those were the beads that I added. And along the bottom, you're going to see the beaded edging. And I find that this, let's see here, can we see the pattern? I find that these beads, although they're subtle, are a nice combination for this particular Shetland wool. So I learned a lot from Laura's class, and she also talks about how to wear the shawls. So her tips on how to showcase your shawl, how to wear it, how to put it on. She just sort of shows you how to put it on, and I've been wearing all my shawls sort of very casual. I've had some of my quilter buddies complimenting me on how I wear them, and I find that her shawls, no matter what you do, they seem to look good no matter how you put them on. So I really, really enjoyed Laura's class. I really recommend it. The other thing that I was looking for were those famous blocking, what are they called? To block your shawls, you were supposed to get sort of stainless steel blocking. It's not coming to me. In any case, I went to several of our local yarn shops asking for these blocking sticks, I guess. And nobody had them. What I'm holding here is, of course, from the hardware store. Turns out that you can get, well, here in Canada or here in Quebec, where everything is a little bit more expensive, you can get roughly, I would say, I think 15, 18-inch, very fine blocking rods. What these are is the rods that hold up your ceiling tile. And it comes in different width and different length, and they're not galvanized, but they will not rust. So for $5, I had a pack of, I guess, 15 of these, and I find that they work really well for blocking your shawls. I don't know what the other blocking rods work like, because we don't have any here, or I could not find any. I guess I would have to order them online. But these seem to have done the job, and I was able to easily, bend them so that they had different shapes and hold them back with my pins. They were quite easy to put through the lace. I'm thinking that they probably do the same job like a regular, the blocking sticks that Laura was recommending. Wow. Anyway, that's what I had. So, and if anybody doesn't have them at their local yarn shop, you might want to consider getting some of those ceiling tile steel rods, I guess is what they're called. Not sure. But the hardware guy didn't have any problems understanding what I was looking for when I sort of described what it was. So that was my experience with those wonderful classes by Laura Nelkin on Craftsy. Now let's go on to the awesome class by Romy Hill, New Directions in Lace. You'll recall the last time I did the doll shawl, or what I thought was the doll shawl. It ended up, I began with the larger shawl as the center, and then I continued with the doll shawl instructions, and something went askew, and the shawl, although the resulting shawl, I'll post it here, was very pretty in the end. It was not the pattern that Laura had provided for the doll shawl. I'm going to show you my swatch that I had done just to sort of, for the last shawl that I did. So here's the swatch. So this time I decided I had a choice. I was going to either take a thicker yarn to convert that doll shawl into a shawl that I could wear, or I could try to do the doll shawl as is. So lo and behold, here's Priscilla. And Priscilla is wearing, she's from the Southern Belle collection, the Heritage Mint Limited Southern Belle collection. Priscilla, a porcelain doll, is wearing the wonderful shawl, doll shawl, by Romy Hill. And this doll shawl as well, you'll notice, has beads. Now, I'm not sure if the camera is focusing, but hopefully you'll get this. Let me just turn her around for you. And here's the back of the shawl. This was such a fun shawl to knit, and I learned a lot with the beads, and again, this is from the same collection from my mom. My mom had this Shetland wool in blue, and she also had the same one in white. So I followed the directions this time for the doll shawl, and I believe that I learned a lot doing this shawl with the crochet hook and the beads, and I love the result. So now Priscilla has a doll shawl. How about that? I think the two classes, the class by Laura Nelkin plus the one by Romy Hill, they really give me a nice overview for knitting beads. I've already started a new collection of beads, so you can only imagine that there's going to be beads added to many more of my projects in the future. Really love these classes. So, yeah. Maybe you can sign up for them yourself and give them a whirl. And that is all I have for the crafts classes today. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit, welcome you to the chit chat portion of the podcast. I'd like to thank everybody who's been giving me such wonderful feedback on how much they enjoy my progress, my journey through the crafts classes. And I noticed some of you were actually inspired to sign up for some of these classes and try it on your own. So, which is wonderful. If you'll recall, we have two contests still running. One is a thread that I started in the Quilt Moxie Ravelry group. And all you have to do is sort of tell us about your favorite class and click on the link to register to win a free Craftsy class. And once we hit 100 members in our group, Craftsy will select the winning participant, or the participant that will get a free Craftsy class of their choice. Also, I asked Craftsy and they gave me permission to run a little contest on my website as well. So this means you can enter on Ravelry for that chance to win a free Craftsy class, and you can also enter on my website by clicking a link to win a free Craftsy class. So now what I would like to do for the summer, I was thinking, now that we've done lace and ferrule and cables and all sorts of fun techniques, I'd like to do some easy breezy brioche for the summer. So I thought that would be fun. Brioche knitting, I know nothing about it, so it's totally new. And I just found out that Craftsy has launched another class. So just like our double knitting class with Alistair Post-Quinn and Lucy Neatby, they both brought something special to the table. I'm pretty sure that these two classes are going to be similar in the sense that each one is going to show us something different. I would like to set up a knit along and invite you to join along on brioche knitting. Super relaxed during the summer. I from what I'm gathering from all these Craftsy classes, there's generally 3 projects per class. And many of the classes now have class kits that are provided by Craftsy, like they put the kit together for you so that you're using the best yarn or the yarn that the teacher is suggesting for the project, which always helps your project look just a bit better. I'd like to invite you to join our Craftsy Easy Breezy Brioche Summer Knit Along. I haven't set it up yet, but look for it in our Ravelry group. And I hope to get some fun prizes, whether it's maybe I'll whip up some project bags, or I'll ask Craftsy if they'd like to sponsor some prizes for each one of these. But that's something that I'd like to do for the summer. So perhaps by May, June, we'll have something ready to go. So think about it. Think about if you'd like to do or to learn how to do brioche. And if you do, consider our knit along. I am hoping to get some coupon codes or something so that the registration for the class could be subsidized or at a special rate. I'm going to see what I can do. So stay tuned for my next podcast, where hopefully we'll be able to get our knit along up and running, and hope to have you along for our easy breezy summer brioche knit along. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed our lace and beads, and join us next time when I will talk a little bit more about our upcoming knit along, and who knows which class I will select to follow. Take care. Bye for now. À la prochaine.